Rachel Reeves' idea of fixing the foundations and stabilising the economy equals zero growth, says Noel. That's right, we just had breaking news this morning that the UK economy recorded no growth in July at all, which basically means that they have achieved net zero in one way, shape or form, but unfortunately it's nothing to be proud about, is it really? Alex Burghart is here, MP, Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster as well. Alex, very good morning to you.
Morning, thanks for having me on.
Not at all, good to see you. More bad news for the economy this morning. I mean, obviously we'll talk about Peter Mandelson in a minute, but no growth whatsoever in July. That can't be good, can it? July should be a month where people are spending money, where people are, you know, taking holidays in the UK. Tourists are bringing in, you know, petrodollars and all the rest of it. How have we got no growth in July?
Well, I think, Mike, you know perfectly well why you haven't got any growth. It's because we had a disastrous set of economic policies from this government from November on. If you come in and you put massive taxes on business and you put huge amounts of additional regulation on, what do you expect? You know, everybody's feeling poorer. See, food inflation, price of food is going up and up and up, and people are retrenching. So, look, the government's only got itself to blame. But I'm sorry to say that I think that worse is to come, perhaps much worse. We know that the government is borrowing far, far too much money at a very high interest rate. We know that they're not going to be able to cut costs. We had that big Labour rebellion before the summer, as everyone will remember, over quite a small welfare saving. And that means they're going to have to put taxes up again in November. You know, they're putting off reality, but that's what they're going to have to do at the end of November if they can't cut costs and reduce borrowing. And the result of that will be to squeeze the economy further. So look, we're on course for a recession at this present time.
I mean, it's only 11 days ago, I know it's hard to believe this, but 11 days ago when Keir Starmer launched the phase 2 of the government, since when he's got no growth in the economy, he's lost his deputy prime minister, he's now apparently lost the ambassador to the United States of America as well. I mean, it's hard to believe how much worse this could get.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what phase 3 is going to be like, doesn't it? I mean, this is a disaster for the government, and I think the Mandelson scandal is not over yet, right? There's definitely more to come. We saw last night a briefing that the security services had raised major concerns about Peter Mandelson when he went through his vetting process. And we see in the papers this morning that allies of Peter Mandelson are briefing that he was clear about the fact that he'd had an ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein through his conviction and imprisonment. And this means, sounds very much like Number 10 had the facts in advance, and they made the appointment anyway. And I've worked in Number 10. I can tell your listeners a little bit about how this works. There are 3 people who'd be involved in an appointment like that. There would be the Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, big Labour man. There'd be David Lammy, who was then head of the Foreign Office, you know, because major ambassadorial appointment, he'd been involved, and it'd be the Prime Minister himself. Now, I think it is very, very unlikely that anyone would have prevented the Prime Minister seeing that security information, which we're now being told contained information about Mandelson's ongoing relationship with Epstein. And that's to say that the Prime Minister actually knew about this all along. I think that casts major doubt over his judgment, and he has enormously serious questions to answer. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to push the government to publish that information, put it on the public record so we can all see who knew what when. And you know, and then sit back and watch the fireworks.
Well, I mean, Kemi Badenoch asked him several times, did she not, in Prime Minister's questions,
she did.
whether or not he would release the information. He talks about there being a process, he talks about there being an inquiry. As far as I know, he hasn't launched an inquiry, but Stephen Doughty, the man who was pushed out yesterday to explain what was going on, said that there was new information. I don't believe that there was new information. The information, surely, and you say that you know how it works on the inside, Alex, surely the security services would have had all of those emails, would have had that information. You know, why would the Daily Telegraph be able to get access to things that you know, the intelligence services didn't have? I just simply don't believe that there was new information that they didn't already know about.
There's either a major problem with the vetting process, or there's a major problem with the Prime Minister. And I think on balance, it's much more likely there's a major problem with the Prime Minister.
Yeah, absolutely right. So will you be taking, I mean, he's also going for a recess, I think, fairly shortly, isn't he? Because Donald Trump's coming next week. They've had a recess in order to stop any embarrassment about him coming to speak to the joint houses of Parliament.
It's totally outrageous, isn't it? That the President of the United States is coming here and he's not going to address both houses of Parliament. The fact of the matter is Parliament's not closed in that time. House of Lords is still sitting. The Commons has got party conference season. But look, we would all come back to hear the President speak. And it's clear that they're trying to avoid a whole load of awkwardness. But to be honest, this thing is going to completely overshadow the presidential visit now, isn't it? It's just going to be question after question.
It's embarrassing.
I don't think Mr. Trump is going to... Mr. Trump's not going to like that. I feel a bit sorry for the King because this is a major event in his calendar. And I think the Prime Minister is going to be showing the country an incredibly bad light. So let's get all of this information out today. Let's get it on the table and do it this week rather than have it dragging into next.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Alex Burghart there, Shadow Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, Tory MP, of course, as well. This from Susan. He says, Mike, with regard to Mandelson, when he said about Epstein being like an albatross around his neck, did he mean like a feather boa to go with his fluffy dressing gown? Also, will Mandelson get a payout, or was he actually sacked? Incredible. Angus says this, I wouldn't know how these people are chosen. Wouldn't the Foreign Secretary at the time have something to do with the appointment of ambassadors? David Lammy, his judgment needs to be looked into. And when he knew about Peter Mandelson's link with Epstein, perhaps he should resign as well. Sorry, it's John from Angus, it's not Angus. John, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, there's so many questions about the uselessness of this government and the appointment process by which Peter Mandelson even got the job. We said at the time he shouldn't be getting the job. He is by no means what you might call reliable individual, a trustworthy individual, or somebody who is free from sleaze. And so it's proved. And now he's out of a job. And now we don't have an ambassador to the United States of America, which is also really, really embarrassing.